8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to another episode of 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah and Teran Lewis. TL, what's up, my guy? How you doing? Happy
What up?
Friday.
Happy Friday. Doing pretty good. I know I usually come on here with my 49ers stuff, but I'm so proud of my boy Ronnie Bell. Hopefully he makes his team, but I think he will.
Oh, he will
But
for
yeah, he'll
sure.
make this team. But yeah, I gotta support my Michigan Wolverines that they go blue, and I hope Jake Moody injury ain't too serious.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. We'll talk about that here shortly. Chat, what's up? Hope everybody's doing great. As you see on the screen, we're starting off with an IU giveaway. So get your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100, as you enter. Today for the winner wheel, the final wheel, for the winners, we're gonna do a John Taylor numbered card, um, 64 out of 75, and then a Fred Warner number card. Let me see what it is. 236 out of 449. So those will be the two final wheel giveaways. But yeah, get your numbers in for the IU giveaway. Hope everybody's doing great. I know that the fan base has kind of been all over the place the last few days. It's been an eventful couple days for the faithful, to say the least. Um, and I really haven't, got to talk to you about it. I haven't got to
Yeah.
get your feelings on it yet. I haven't heard how you're feeling about anything. So I can't wait to hear about that. But before we do that, let me say what's up to the chat. We got Throwback in the house. What's up? Ty, what up? What up? JDLR, what's good, my guy? Bebop Aroni, Sim. Oh my God, I'm gonna start putting it on the calendar. Sim has been like perfect attendance for the last couple
Upside
months.
down W on your head. It just means that Michigan wins. That's all. You got the M for Michigan. You wrap it, you turn it around, wins. You know what I'm talking about?
Luke the Don, what's good? Hope everybody's doing great. Yeah, let me know, chat, how you guys are feeling with everything. I'm interested to just, check the temperature now that we've had a couple days to kind of, process what was, announced to us unexpectedly. Um, but yeah, let me know, TL, how you feeling?
Well, it's been a couple of days, and my feelings really still haven't changed. Um, I feel like you wasted the organization's time, and you wasted Trey Lance's time. My thing is this, and let me get this on record. I do not want Kyle Shanahan fired. I'm not saying that. But I just, I find it comical that when you criticize him or John Lynch, people, yeah, but he put together a good roster. It doesn't matter. You can still, these men can still be criticized. And like, I heard people's feelings back and forth saying that like if it doesn't work out, he should be fired, and that might be a different conversation. But then people want to get all up in arms and saying you guys are idiots if you think Kyle Shanahan should be fired. And like I said before, I don't believe he should be for the situation. But people can have their own feelings and opinions without you dogging them. If they feel like that's a situation, that's their opinion. Like you don't have to agree with it, but you don't have to call somebody a clown or an idiot. And they always want to bring up the Tom Sula days. Well, Tom Sula this
Yeah.
and Chip Kelly that and this and that. Who cares? That's their opinion. So if they want to feel that way, let them feel that way. I just find it funny that they keep their head and John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's lap and think they're the end all be all. Like there's other people that are qualified to do this job. And I think the thing with me that's frustrating is like um I have a few cousins that live in the Bay Area. I'm originally from California, so I have a lot of family in the Bay Area, and they kind of keep a low profile. None of them are content creators and none of this stuff, but they were at training camp, and a lot of them said after the situation, like, I can't believe they gave um, Trey Lance QB3. He outperformed Sam Purdy, Sam Purdy. I was about to say Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. That's funny. Sam Darnold in all aspects, like from what they saw, and they were just like they just think it's unbelievable. So yeah, it's a situation where, where you brought this up a few times, where it's like when they sit there and say sit there and say, like, when John Lynch and Kyle were leaving Justin Fields pro day, he was drawing up plays, and John was like, "What is that?" Oh, I'm drawing up plays for Trey Lance. And then when it comes out that John Lynch sit there and says, like, "Oh, we never tailored the offense
Well,
to
he
suit
said this year they
this year,
didn't.
this year, but
Last
this
season they
year."
did. This year they didn't.
And well, I don't think they did it last year either, and that was what my point was. I don't sit there and think that you run Trey Lance 13 times a game. That's not tailored to his strengths. So to sit there and say you did it last year, I don't think you did it last year either. Yeah, I don't think you tailored the game to his strengths last year. So I think it accounts for this year and last year, because the simple fact, I didn't see anything that you called that catered to Trey's strengths. Instead of you running him up 13 times a game. And I've said this before. He's not, to me, he's underrated. I mean, sorry, overrated as a runner. I feel like he's more on the Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes
Mhm.
type of athleticism, where he runs off script better,
Right.
where the play breaks down and he's like, "Oh crap, let me take off and get 8, 9 yards." I don't think he's a scripted runner like a Lamar Jackson.
Right. Or
That's
Justin
what that
Fields,
yeah, or
he's
Justin
not.
Fields. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not that type of runner. He just, or Cam Newton, like he's not that
Yeah.
kind of an athlete. So that's why I said, so when they sit there and say we didn't tailor the offense to him, I don't think they ever did. I think it was more like, well, this is Kyle's, like, this is what I like to run, and that's fine. But all I'm saying is, if you felt like, if say sit here and say like Kyle's is offensive genius, I don't think he is, because I'm not a play caller, but I can sit there and tell you what I saw last year was not any good for Trey Lance. So the fact that you traded up for this man, spent all that draft capital, and really never had a plan for him, that kind of bugs me, because I feel like I said, he could have went to another team. Atlanta was ready to get him at 4, and maybe that's something better for him. And saying all that, I feel bad for Trey, but at the same time, it is a business. Me personally, if I'm Trey, Trey's gonna feel however he wants. I get it. This me personally, you're paying me $9 million to be QB3. Cool. I'll sit back. I'll keep my mouth shut. I won't complain. I'll make my $9 million. I'll get better quietly behind the scenes. And next year, I'll pick the team where I want to go. You know what I'm saying? And people like to say, "Oh, there's no interest." Oh, there's interest. Well, that if that man's a free agent, he will be picked up.
Mhm.
I don't care what nobody says. Maybe people are skeptical on what draft capital they want to use on him. But if he sits, because they're not going to pick up his 5th year option, you know that.
Right.
So if he sits back and he works on his craft, continues to get better, shuts up, like I always say, work in silence. Make this $9 million. I mean, you're making more than Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy put together. Sit back, enjoy that money, chill, get better. And if they decide to keep you, fine. If they don't, go about your business and be better for your next team, because I still have faith in Trey Lance. And I said this before. I think we had a show a couple weeks ago where we're predicting the 53-man roster. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of Trey Lance and kept Purdy, Darnold, and Brandon Allen as their quarterbacks. And now I mean, who knows how it's going to be, but I said this before. I just don't think that they've been in on Trey since last year, and it's starting to come to fruition. So those are my thoughts on the whole situation.
Yeah. Sim says, I don't think that's his strengths either, but to be fair, he wouldn't call those plays if Trey wasn't successful in practice running them. There had to have been something that Kyle saw to where he thought it would be a better idea to run Trey than to let him stand there and freaking throw. So, Kyle's seeing the guy in practice. We're not. I mean, there has to be something, because it just, the whole situation doesn't make sense. Like you said, and this is from, I would say 95% of the people that I know that were at training camp have all said that there was no way that Sam beat out Trey.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't make sense. There has to be something else. What is that? Who knows? Like, I think that's where, like, everybody's just trying to like rack their brains. Like, what is going on? Because I think, and the way the situation went down, for them to get in front of the media and say, "Oh, we're not announcing yet, yada, yada, yada." And then the very next morning, the news breaks. And it just, I don't know. It was really weird how I'm just really confused, because like, I was just, and still, it's been how many, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. And still, every time I think about it, it's just like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it couldn't, there's no way that it could have been a competition. because, and like when I was talking with Steph yesterday, how if it was a real competition, you wouldn't have found a winner already before the competition was even over. They didn't even play preseason game 3 yet.
Yeah.
So, and then to say, oh, he beat him out, he started pulling away from him 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
Like, and Sam Darnold had like a 1-for-7 practice in those 10 days. So it's like, what could he have possibly done that made you move off of the guy that you had as your starter last year and move him all the way to quarterback 3? Like, because of like he got injured. It's not because he went in there and sucked and got demoted and whatever. He got injured. So it's just like the whole thing to make him compete for the backup spot to begin with was freaking weird. The fact that they brought Sam Darnold in was weird to begin with. Let's start there. And then just everything since has just been crazy, and like we talked about yesterday, it's like if I was Trey Lance, that Trey and Sam Darnold had the same agent. So, that agent, your agent brought somebody in, one of their other clients in to compete with you and take your job, basically, so like if I was Trey, I'd be firing that agent, get a new agent, and tell the Niners to freaking trade you somewhere. They want to sit up there and they did the same shit with Jimmy, right? Like, oh, we want to do what's best for Jimmy. If we find a place, that he wants to go and blah, 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 of course, that's what we want to do, bullshit. Right? Like we seen that they never got what they thought Jimmy was worth. So they wouldn't trade him. They let him just sit there and rot away. They have him shoved off onto the freaking practice field to the side, like, yet wouldn't trade him because nobody's offering whatever they thought Jimmy was worth, And it's like, are we going to be in that same situation? Like you just push Trey all the way down the roster, and now it's like, okay, now sit there and rot away.
Yeah.
Because if somebody offers a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick, let's say, that's not going to be good enough for what you want, right? And so, okay, no, we're just going to let you sit and rot away instead. Like, what if the Vikings call up and say, we'll give you a 5th and a player or something, a 7th and a edge rusher?
Yeah.
That they want them, that Minnesota wants Trey. Trey wants to be in Minnesota, like that's where he's from. That's, the hometown kid plays for there. Like, so that would be a thing. Oh, we want to do what's best for Trey, but is the offer going to be great enough for you to actually do what's best for Trey? Because it's not what's best for the 49ers, like, is Trey worth more to the team sitting as QB3 than whatever low ass pick they're going to get,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's excuse me, sorry. There was something that give me 1 second, my throat. Sim said that Trey's been practicing since late April. The coach might have seen something that we didn't, and I agree here with 49er minded. I think their mind was made up even before that. I think they already had an idea of like, what, we can't wait to groom this kid. We can't, they'd rather have somebody with 55 starts and 90 turnovers come in. And, I think Jesse said this on Spaces, and I agree. If you have somebody with 55 starts and somebody with 4 starts, the level of competition shouldn't even be close. If you're looking at quarterbacks who have the same kind of attributes, I feel like Sam Darnold and Trey both got pretty big arms, both top 3 picks, similar athleticism, because Sam Darnold, he can scoot a little bit when needs to. But when you have the competition and it's that close, where you're like, man, like, Trey only played 4 games, Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold has, isn't looking, heads over heels over Trey. I think you go with the person who has the most upside and somebody you invested in, instead of just going. But I agree. I feel like, and I said this before and I'll say it again, I really think last year they already made their mind made up. I think they already were out on Trey and was like, man, like, I don't have time. And, people can say what I want. You can say I'm tripping, conspiracy theory, whatever the case may be. I feel like there was a lot of influence in the locker room that had to do with this decision as well. I'm sorry. Like, and I told you this before, Miriah, and the chat. If Trey, I know he's a young man, and I'm sure, he's probably like deer in the headlights when it comes to handling situations, because he's so young. He hasn't played much. He's probably like, I'm gonna let my agent handle all my business. But at the same time, when Kyle Shanahan said you get a chance to come here and compete, My next question would have been like, for what job? QB2, or do I have a chance to win my starting job back? Because then if they said no, Brock's our guy, you're competing for QB2, then I would have been like, well, get me out of here. Talk to my agent, get me out of here. If I'm not going to have a honest chance to compete, then get me out of here. I don't think any of us are mad that Brock Purdy is QB1. He won games for us. He looks good. My beef, I can't speak for everybody. My beef is you were really out on Trey, so why give him the the positive thinking of thinking like, oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and we're gonna let you come and compete when you knew all along that you wanted Sam Darnold when you paid him 4.5 million to come to be the backup. That's my issue with it, and then not even giving Trey a fair shot to be the QB2. That's my issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just yeah. I believe with Collie, it might be time for Trey to get a new agent because, like, that's something like to me, it's common sense. We got Collie on here, Sam 49er minded. We got people up here. Tanya. We got people on here that even though yeah, we might not have the best minds when it comes to football, but that's common sense to me. What is my client going to have a chance to come and compete for the starting job that he had less than a year ago? Or is he only going to compete for a backup job? And that's when the agent should say, well, if Kyle said no, he's QB2. Okay, cool. Give us permission to seek a trade. Because if you're not going to give my client a fair shot to win his job back, then he doesn't need to be here. And then the fact that you signed Darnold first day of free agency, remember that. Sam Darnold almost $5 million. Like 49er Minders said, they've been out on Trey for a while. So, he just, I know you think differently. You think he should just say, you know what, just trade me. But I think it'd be better suited for him to go into free agency and pick his own destination, because then he can say, okay, let me look at the QB depth chart. Like somebody brought up on Twitter, Ray Martinez was like, I think a good situation might be Miami.
He would still have to be sitting on the roster for 2 more years to hit free agency.
But
He not free agent yet.
But yeah, I know. But Tua's always hurt. So that'd be a good destination if he wanted to go there with a similar offense, something he knows. They have weapons that fit his strengths with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not pissed off. I'm not gonna sit there and say fire Kyle because that's some foolishness. But at the same time, too, if this blows up in his face and he sits there and says, "I knew after 3 games Brock Purdy was the dude," fine. We all sit there and we complain. Kyle needs to find his quarterback. Okay, to him, he found his. He feels like he found his. Now go win that Super Bowl if you found your guy. He wins the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. Everybody will shut up. Okay, cool. This is our team going forward. But if Brock Purdy goes in there, he's struggling, throwing interceptions. We're starting off 2-5 again, and you bring in a Sam Darnold, and we've known what he can do. We've seen what he does, in actual games. In 55 starts, it's crazy. You know what I mean? 90 turnovers. You almost doubled your turnovers in starts. You know what I'm saying? That's wild to me. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I wish the best for Trey. If he goes out and he balls, I'm happy for him. But I'm gonna root for him regardless. But especially because he's still a 49er right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you answer this, but before, let me draw the winner for this.
Okay.
Everybody got your numbers in for the first giveaway and for number 1 on the final wheel. Hurry up and get them in. If not, because we're going to draw. And I'm going to do these next giveaways real fast. So make sure you guys get your numbers in fast. Because I'm tired.
Yeah. So you want me to answer that real quick, you said?
Sure.
So to me, and like I said, and Sam said, well, he's doing something in practice that looks good. Let's just be real here. In practice, nobody's going 100%. As far as a starting job, like I'm sure Kyle's not out there saying like, "Oh, go 100%," because he doesn't want his quarterbacks to get hurt. So I feel like yeah, Trey might have did something that might have worked well with his running, but I still don't believe that 13 to 15 runs a game suits his strengths. I'm sorry, like why didn't he never roll out? Why did he always like there was nothing. We see how good he throws his posts. The post patterns outside the number throw, stuff like that. As much as people like to say, and I'm not saying go 50-yard passes every single play, 15 to 25-yard passes at strengths. You see on the Bears game when Ray McLeod, could have crossed the middle on that cross pattern, stuff like that. To to do his strengths, not running him so much. I feel like if you roll him out, you throw a little deep shots here and there, just like we say about the short stuff. The short stuff opens up the deep stuff and vice versa. If you get beat a couple of times on 15 to 20, 25-yard passes, you're going to start covering, you know, you're going to start covering up a little bit more and be like, oh man, I need to guard this. And then that's when the intermediate stuff opens up. But the runs right up the middle, 61, the runs right up the middle and stuff, that just to me, you don't run your quarterback between the tackles so much. You look at the difference between Trey Lance and a Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he runs a decent amount, but it's never between the tackles. You know what I'm saying? It's always on a rollout outside the tackles type runs. But like I said, though, too, I feel like Jalen Hurts is a better athlete than Trey. I just feel like he's more of an off script type of guy. But so, yeah, so I just don't think that running him that much suited his strengths. And I think Sim kind of said that. And I get it, Sim. Like he might have did something where in practice that looked good, but I just don't think that running him that many times was that good. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I just don't think you run somebody 14 to. I don't think your starting quarterback should have more runs than your second string running back. If that makes sense. Like, there's no way he should have more carries than like a Elijah Mitchell. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. David B. Congrats. You are the winner.
Was that who won? Oh, cool.
And you are number 1 on the final wheel. Again, for the final wheel, it's these 2 numbered cards, John Taylor and Fred Warner. So that'll be the final wheel. All right, so giveaway 2. Let's do, how about Eric Armstead? Get your numbers in the chat. 1 through 100.
Sin number 1 with number 51. So everybody follow behind Sin to get their numbers in. No duplicates.
Good luck. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think come week 1? Is Trey Lance on this team, or do you think they're going to end up trading him?
Honestly, I have no clue. It gets to the point where, like, and I don't even believe this organization anymore. Like, and I know it's a game of chess, but to sit there and say, like, I don't know. It's been so much back and forth and so many stuff. I don't even believe them anymore. I don't believe John Lynch any word he says. Me personally, I think he stays on this team. For him, I mean, because if I'm not going to be on this team, I'm not playing preseason. I'm not playing tonight.
Hell no.
I'm not playing tonight. Like, ain't no way I'm going to sit there and risk myself getting hurt. You see how trash the offensive line has been with the third stringers.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't no way I'm going out there and playing my heart out. I mean, to sit there and get hurt and now what? And now you're screwed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The team's already trying to throw you out. Imagine when you're hurt, you watch how they did Jimmy. So
yeah, so I don't know. I'm going to say he's on this team, and I hope he is. I just hope he's on this team, and he just, like I said, I just wish the young man. He's such a humble dude too. Like, he just sits there, and I'm sure he has a good dad from all accounts, from what we see. So I feel like his dad is giving him some advice on the side too. Like, look, son, this is what I feel like you should do. This and that. I mean, you can tell he was raised right with some good parents, because he's such a well-spoken young man. He takes responsibility, takes accountability. So yeah, I don't know. I think he will be on this team, but I'm not gonna say he'll be here all year though. Like, if Brock is staying, let's just say it's like trade deadline and Brock is balling and we're like 8-1 or something, and Sam Darnold hasn't gotten any, I think they will trade him. But I think if there was I think if there was, obviously if there's an injury to Brock, he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's so hard to say because, like you said, this team is just freaking crazy. But I think and again, this is a tricky part because who knows what offer is going to be good enough? Like, what offer would they actually, is it going to, like, if, I can't think who the Vikings have, but if they have an edge rusher or somebody, like, maybe,
Offensive lineman or something that they
yeah,
have. Yeah.
some position that
Somebody,
we
yeah,
need a
something
player,
something of
right?
need. Yeah.
It's like, do they just, say, let's just do it, get it at some point, like you have to just, like, I just want them, if Trey's not in your plans, you don't see him, you already put him down QB3, you don't see you ever giving him the time to play to get better, whatnot, just cut ties with him. Put all your support and all your love, everything into your quarterback for once. And if that's going to be Brock Purdy, just cut ties with Trey, let him go have a career somewhere, let him, get playing time somewhere else, and just actually support and back up the fucking quarterback that you have for once.
Yeah.
Stop trying to find new suitors all the time. Like I feel like, if this was a dating thing, Kyle would be constantly, out looking for side pieces all the time. You know,
That's a great
I mean,
analogy.
you know, every single year we've seen him out flirting with everybody else that he could possibly flirt with to try to get him to come to the 49ers. And it's just like, just back the quarterback that you have for once. Like tell them they're great. Like, like we saw what Mike McDaniel did for Tua, right? Like let Trey Lance go find a coach like that somewhere that's going to pull up, his highlights and make him believe in himself again and give him confidence. That ain't here. That's 100,000% not here.
Mm-hmm.
So just cut ties with him and let him go.
Yeah.
You're not doing what's best for you, or the only thing that you're doing by keeping him on the roster is being selfish and thinking, okay, well, if this quarterback gets hurt and this quarterback gets hurt and this this happens and this happens, then okay, we can use Trey, so
Yeah.
we could
He's a
keep him
just
there
in case
possibly, yeah,
quarterback. Yeah.
in case of emergency, break the glass.
Yep.
But other than that, no, just sit there and rot away. And meanwhile, it'll be another year that he hasn't played, right? Like another year he hasn't gotten reps.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was an emergency and we had to put him in, is he going to be ready to take over?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everybody sat there and said that, oh, the 49ers panicked or whatever the case may be. And maybe they did. Like, sitting there thinking stuff, but I just never seen a situation. I get it. People will say, this is a win now, Rush, a win now. We've been winning now for 5 years and haven't gotten it done. So I get it. So you want to sit there and say, oh, it's a win now, Rush, or we can't wait on growing pains. And you should have never drafted the young man.
Yeah.
Period. You should have just, if you were so much in love with Mac Jones as well, should have just got him. If that's what
Anybody
you're
with
going to
an
say.
eyeball knew that Trey Lance wasn't ready to play right away, right? That he needed reps, that he needed, that he had no freaking playing time. Everybody knew that. So if you weren't ready to invest the time in the freaking kid,
yeah,
why did you fucking draft him?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. That's why, like, I still go back to, like, did Kyle even want him? Like, we keep hearing, oh, Kyle has final say. Kyle has final say. Kyle has final say. But it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up that Kyle even wanted him.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point because we've always
crazy.
talked about like he was always the offensive coordinator, at places, so he never got a chance. I heard when he was with when he was offensive coordinator with, I want to say, was it the Browns or something? He wanted the Browns to draft Derek Carr, but instead they went after Johnny Manziel or something like this, something like that. I could be off, but I know he was high on Derek Carr. But then, like, and then when, of course, when when he was in Washington, he was like, no, I don't want RG3. You know what I mean? I don't want RG. Him and his dad both, but Daniel Snyder was like, no, we're getting RG3. But then they end up getting Kirk Cousins later on. So I feel like we always say, like, oh, does he get final say? And me and you even both were like, man, this is the first time in Kyle's career when he's in charge where he gets to pick his guy. Like he has final say. He they traded up draft capital to get top 3, and we all were like, it was either like everybody pretty much knew like Lawrence was going 1, and then after that it was like we're gonna end up with either Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance. Like, to me, those were like the top 4 consensus guys. So we're like, okay, so when Kyle sat there and we hear how he fell in love with him at the pro day. He's drawing plays for him on the airplane, leaving another quarterback's pro day. Oh, I just saw Justin Fields, but let me get these plays for Trey Lance. And then you remember the phone call when Trey was crying. He was like, I didn't know, coach. He was, I thought you had a feeling, man. I thought you remember Kyle saying that? I thought you had a feeling. I thought you could tell. So it's hard not to think he
Mhm.
got his guy. And that's why I say
Yeah.
I feel like Kyle has a little bit of influence from the locker room. I feel like the locker room 48, huh? What player, this is a trivia question for people on the
48.
chat. What player wore that number his rookie year and then changed and now he's an all pro? Does anybody know? Let me see.
Fred Warner.
Yep, that's exactly right. Sin was the first one, right? Yeah, okay, there she is. What was the number
All
again?
right. Yeah.
No, the number on the card.
48.
What was it again? 40 us, right? Oh, so Sin got 51 so far.
Yeah.
Let me
48.
see. Yeah. Let me see.
Giveaway number 3 is going to be Drake Jackson.
Sin's the winner with 51.
Sin.
Yep, Sin.
Woo!
Congratulations, Cinnamon
Congrats, Sin.
Kiss.
Sin gets Eric Armstead. And Sin is now number 2 on the final wheel. Congrats, Sin. So yeah, the third giveaway is going to be Drake Jackson. So you can go ahead and start entering your numbers in.
Sam, I got faith. I got faith in you. You're gonna win one of these years. I promise you.
One of these years. It's because you didn't show up to so many shows that now you have to make up time. These people, they've been here all these months that you weren't here, putting in their numbers. So that's what happens. So yeah, maybe in 2 years, if you have perfect attendance for the next 2 years, you might be caught up.
So we got Dawn with the first number with 54. She ended up going with Fred Warner's current number. Oh, I'm being punished. I see. That's funny. Not by us. Maybe by the man above. Not by us.
So yeah, get those numbers in. We're drawing fast, so I'm only giving you guys 2 minutes. We're drawing. Let's switch the topic for a minute and talk about Nicholas Bosa again, because he still hasn't fucking signed an extension. Is he going to be signed by week 1?
So we got what, 15 days? We got 2 weeks before. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say he signs first week of September. What do you think?
Today's the 25th.
Dick Nosa. Symmetry. You sound like me
I don't
earlier
know.
with Sam Purdy.
I'm getting kind of worried.
Really?
And not worried that like, oh, it's not going to get done eventually or whatever, but it's just weird that it's taking this freaking long when even John Lynch has told us for years, yeah, we have money put away for Nick Bosa. We know we got to pay him. We know blah, blah, blah. We know how much money he's going to be. Okay, so you knew he wanted to set the market. You knew all this shit. Yet here we are, like, knocking on the freaking door of week 1. Is he going to be in football shape? Is he going to be ready to go? Or he's going to get in and pull a fucking hamstring? Or, like, that's what I'm worried about. Because it's just like cutting it so close now. Like once it was, the first week of training camp, okay, this is typical 49ers bullshit, right? They always do this shit. But now it's just going on and on and on, and Bosa's still holding out. It's like, okay, now it's cutting it very close. I'm kind of starting to get worried here. So yeah.
I just hope that all this holding out, like we say, he's in phenomenal shape. That's not the worry. It's the football shape. And I'm just worried that, and I'm not trying to jinx him, I'm just worried he's going to come in and thinking like, oh, I'm going to go full strength and then hurt something. That's my worry. Because it's getting so close to week 1 that, if he signs, we play September 10th. Let's just say he signs September 6th. So in 4 days, let's just say he's going to have to go out there and give it his all for 4 quarters. when he hasn't been in training camp, he hasn't been doing any preseason, all this other stuff. Is gonna come in and then yeah, exactly. I just want them soft tissues because he has a history of nagging injuries. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm worried about because it's hard to sit there like you can sit there and run every day 2 miles a day. You can sit there and hit all the weights you want, stretch, all this other stuff, but that is so different than going on a football field. That is so different from going on the football field and giving it your all for 4 quarters. So I'm just worried that, like I said, a pulled hamstring or a quad injury, something like that's what I'm worried about because he
Yeah,
hasn't been around the team for so long doing training camp stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what bothers me and that's what
exactly.
scares me. So, like I said, for him, everybody's, nobody's worried about him being in shape. He ain't gonna come in fat. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So it's just like I said, it's just the other stuff that I'm worried about. Hope so, Bebop.
Agree. Let's draw.
Okay, let's go up to Dawn since he was first. No
83.
border. No borders has 72. Ooh, JDLR has 85. Let me see. Ooh,
JDLR.
JDLR. Him and Tanya were pretty close, but JDLR gets it.
Congrats, JDLR. And that means JDLR is number 3 on the final wheel. Right? Yep.
Okay.
All right. I see those numbers coming in way late, so you guys better get on the roll because I told you you're only having 2 minutes. Let's go. Juice next.
Mm.
Melissa's not here, so get those numbers in 1 through 100 for Juice.
All right.
All right, so the team came out and announced today that Moody has a little injury and will not be playing in the game tonight. So they said this happened the other day in practice, but yet we haven't heard one single thing about it. I just think like the 49ers are always do weird shit with injuries. So I'm always like suspicious when like some injury comes out like right at the last minute, or like especially like Moody's been up and down, and like we have a supposed battle for that position going on, and like are you going to be able to trade this Zane Gonzalez guy? You got to showcase him, like it just, I don't know. So what are you thinking with this whole situation? Do you think, what if Zane goes out there tonight and just hits every kick, hits his extra points, doesn't miss shit? What kind of situation do we have on our hands?
Well, first and foremost, Collie, I don't wear any jerseys. So sorry to burst your bubble on the Jake Moody jersey. I think you hit the nail on the head with the last comment, showcasing Zane Gonzalez. I think they're happy with Moody. I know a lot of this fan base has kind of been up in the air, like, oh, was it the wrong pick? And I swear, and I said we talked about this last show, right? This is the most finicky, impatient fan base I've ever seen. Like, yeah, Jake Moody. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna give up on him. I think he has a so-called injury because they probably feel like, man, we got two pretty good kickers on this team right now. We drafted Jake Moody, so we're going to fake an injury and let him sit. And I'm not saying it's fake, but who knows? Maybe it's just like it's they're putting on more than what it really is. So I think
like
Zane
if it was a
Gonzalez.
real game, would he be able to play?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Zane Gonzalez is being showcased. It's the last preseason game. There's a lot of people who are trying to decide on who their kicker is going to be. So if he goes out there and goes like 3 for 3, hits every extra point or something like that, then there's going to be some calls. Hey, let me give you a 7th for him, a 6, whatever the case may be. I think that's what's going on tonight.
And maybe, you know, I'm thinking like the teams will be like, oh, well, you know, their other kicker, Moody, is hurt. So they're not just going to cut Zane, right? You know, like the 49ers don't want them to think they're just going to throw away Zane, because then why are teams going to come and offer anything?
Exactly.
When they could just get him for free off the freaking lumberjack pile in a little while.
Yep, exactly. So I think that's what it is. And even if it's not like a direct pick, it could be like a swap. It could just be like, you know, we'll swap 6th-round picks or something like that. You know, you get the better of the 6th-round picks. You know what I mean? Something along those lines.
Yeah. What's up, Betty? Got your number in right in time, because I'm going to draw right now. Again, this is for Kyle, the juice squeezer. All right. Good luck.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
How about that?
that is funny. That is
See,
funny.
was somebody smart enough to pick Juice's number?
Yep, they were. Look at that. Shaw Show 44. On the money.
What?
Crazy.
On the money.
There's
Where
our
is
winner.
it? Oh, there it is. Congrats. Congrats. Let me see what I got for you in the extra goodie bag over here.
Yes, Sam did. He picked 44 the last drawing. You're a round too early, bro. He said, I'm done.
All right.
Wow. That was awesome.
49er Media. Congrats. What out of these two? They're both stickers. So we got the 49er drip helmet, or we have the Birth of a Dynasty sticker. Which one you want? Let me know. Congrats again. And you're number 4 on the wheel, on the final wheel.
Oh, it's crazy.
Let's see.
First one. You said
That's
your first ever one, Shaw Show?
Okay. Congrats. No. He was saying like the first one, the first option.
Oh, yeah.
That's 49er Media. It just changed his name. All right. Congrats. The 5th one. 2 more. Doing 6, and then we'll do the final wheel. So this one's Debo.
It's a nice card.
Get those numbers in 1 through 100. 2 minutes on the clock. How do you feel? Let's go. Let's switch back to the quarterbacks for a minute. But not really the quarterbacks, just the situation I want to talk about.
Okay.
So I had touched on this, that, you know, Kyle sits up there, gets asked specific questions about the quarterback, you know, decision. We don't know yet, yada, yada. I'll announce it before the Steelers game, blah, blah, blah. Then we know the next morning the news comes out. Well, that was the last day of training camp, so media's there. They have a media availability, and the team chooses to send Fred Warner and Javon Hargrave out there to answer questions. Instead of Kyle going out there or sending at least a coach or maybe an offensive player at least. No, you send 2 defensive players.
Hargrave send Brian Greasy at least.
You know, so Fred Warner gets out there, and of course he's bombarded with fucking questions. And what's he supposed to say? You know, he's up there and he's like, I'm telling you guys the truth. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Like, we're trying to ask around. We came out to practice. Trey's not here. You know, like, I just think like the way, that's why like this whole situation is just so puzzling to me, because like I understand that your captain, you know, we know Fred Warner's a stand-up guy, right? Like he's well media trained. But to just send him out there in the fucking fire like that, when you know those questions are coming, the media cares about not one other thing that day than about fucking Trey Lance and Sam Darnold battle and where Trey Lance is. And they just send Fred out there to, you know, Hargrave was like, well, I wasn't at practice today, so I don't know that Trey wasn't there. And then they didn't ask him any more questions about it. But it's like, you know that they're going to sit there and question Fred, you know, like I just felt so bad. And it's just like, this situation is just like so weird. The way it's handled, the everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
like we
doing
used to
some
say.
weird shit.
Yeah, it was weird. I agree with the chat. You know, that was soft. You know, that was this like we used to say in the military when people would complain or be soft. Give this man the PU-55Y form because that's what they were acting like. You can the fives will replace the S's. So that's what we would say. Give that man the PU-55Y form. Why you said and Fred was so humble about it. Fred was just like, you know what? He was like you said, he was like, honestly, I don't know what's going on in the quarterback
Yeah.
situation. Like he was just kind of like baffled, like, why am I even out here answering these questions? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's sad that that they did that. Like man up and address your decision. Sit it there and be like, yeah, this is the decision we went with. We decided that
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was the better quarterback. 10 days ago, he separated himself, so we decided to give him QB2. Cool. End of story. But then you want to send, like you said, send out your guys on defense to sit there and say something. Even if you were sent out like Brian Greasy or somebody, you know what I mean? That was soft. I can't believe that they sent those guys out there. 61.
Yeah. 61.
Let me see. Yeah, I agree with the chat. That was a soft move.
Yeah, I was just watching that press conference and I couldn't fucking believe it. I'm like, man. And what's Fred? It's not like Fred can say, like, they have to, you know, go to their media availability. You know, if the team sends them, they have to go. It's not like he can say, no, I don't want to talk to the media today, you know? And then he'll be the prima donna and the, you know, trouble person and all this shit. It's just like, so
I wonder if he was
we
even
know how
prepared
Fred
for that.
is. He's going to do it. And that's probably why they specifically chose to send him, you know?
Yeah. Let me see. I think the closest so far is 69, but let me keep looking.
Don, I'm pretty sure that Brock will be starting and then Sam will play. I don't even know if Trey will play at all, but when they asked Kyle about it, he said, yeah, I plan on him going in right after Sam. So we'll see if Trey's actually there and suited up.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that situation is handled tonight.
Yeah. So, chat, give me your opinion on this. Take your emotions out of it. Take everything out of it. If you were Trey Lance, would you play tonight?
Is that the winner, Eddie?
Yeah. Eddie G and the B Dogs. Yeah.
Congrats, Eddie. Debo is
Sim
yours.
said he would play. Dawn said
Eddie's
she
number 5 on the wheel.
Collie would play. I'm interested to see why, like for the people in the chat saying, yeah, why would you play? Would you play to showcase yourself for another team, or just to keep yourself ready, just in case there are 2 injuries ahead of you? Or both. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of curious of why you guys would play. Christian McCaffrey.
Get your numbers in. The final giveaway, CMC, and number 6 on the giveaway wheel.
Hey, that card is shiny.
2 minutes. Good luck.
That card is super shiny.
Yeah, I get that, Sim. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, you know, if it was me, I wouldn't, because I'm not risking getting hurt and everything. But from
That's my
his
thing,
point
yeah.
of view, like, you know, that if he doesn't, you know, then he's a prima donna and he's selfish. He's not a team player. He's whatever they could possibly fucking think to call him, right? He's going to be that. It's not, you know, oh, he couldn't handle the pressure. He's a weak. You know, all this shit is going to be. So.
college said to showcase yourself and to show everyone you're mentally tough, regardless of the rumors. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the only thing
I get it.
the only thing that would bother me, like you said, is the injury because
Yep.
we've seen how I mean, I feel like the all offense linemen playing better. But this is preseason game 3, and what worries me about that is you got the guys who are on the verge of knowing that they're getting cut. They're gonna go out there and do whatever they have to do to make a team, and they're showcasing themselves as well. So I think that would be the only thing that would worry me is because of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm competitive as well. I'd be like, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, and that's why I said too, I had said earlier in the show for those who hadn't gotten here yet, like if I'm Trey, I will not even really requesting a trade after this point. Like in the beginning, when he talked to Kyle, what months ago, when Kyle was like, "Hey, you're gonna come in and you're gonna compete. I'll give you a chance to compete." If he would have said no, you're not getting the
Mhm.
starting QB spot, then I would have requested a trade. But at this point, it's been so long. Just stay on the team. Stay on the team. Work your tail off. Show that you belong in the NFL. And when your time comes, you're going to come. I mean, he's 23 years old. There's quarterbacks who come into the league at 23. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get what
Mhm.
everybody's saying. Like if you want to showcase yourself, just go out there and just be a dog. Like I feel like if he just goes out there and just doesn't play scared and doesn't, you know, just goes out there and bees him. I'll never forget when he came in that Seattle game when Jimmy got hurt and Debo was just like, just relax. I just want you to be you. Just be you.
Mhm.
Remember that? Debo tell him on the
Yeah.
sidelines. Just go out there and be yourself, man. Don't worry about anything. Just go out there and play hard. And I'll never forget, and I think I said this before, you know, I said this before with Adrian Peterson when they interviewed him when he came in from that torn ACL. He came in from a torn ACL and ran for 2,000 yards. And they were like, dude, how did you do that? He goes, I was out there being myself, not playing scared,
Mhm.
not worried about re-injuring my leg. You just go out there and be me. That's what Trey's mentality needs to be, when he goes in there tonight.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds, see what happens. I'm sure, a lot of the faithful are going to be watching this preseason game very close, like they've never watched a preseason game before.
Probably other teams too.
Like, never been so interested in the preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if I'm another team, I'd be
All
sitting
right. You
there
got your
too.
numbers
Like,
in for the
yep,
CNC?
let me see. Is everybody on there? Let me see. Let me go to the top where it started. Dawn at 68. Okay.
Because we're drawing. Good luck.
Number 20. Okay.
20.
See, Bebop so far 26. Let me see.
Tone.
Let me keep it up.
Still rocking my Lance shirt today, Don says. There you
It's
go.
looking like the
I'm
winner
sure
is
there'll still be a
Bebop.
lot of people. Bebop Baroni,
Yep, he has
congrats.
26.
And you'll be number 6 on the final wheel. I'm sure a lot of people will be still wearing their Trey jerseys today to the game. And,
Yeah.
we saw last week when Trey went in, the whole crowd freaking erupted, So
Yeah.
if he does play today, I'm expecting even more so. All right. So congrats, Bebop. So for the final giveaway wheel, we got David V, number 1, Cinnamon Kiss, number 2, JDLR's number 3, 49er Media is number 4, Eddie is number 5, and Bebopperoni is number 6. Again, it's the last man or woman standing, the last faithful standing. And you'll be getting John Taylor numbered and Fred Warner numbered to add to your winnings. So let me get it on here and we'll do that real quick. All right. righty. Good luck, everybody that's in it. The last person standing. So if it pulls your number first, you're not a winner.
You out.
Bebop, you're out of there. David V, you're out of there. Eddie. So we got Sin, JDLR, and Media. JDLR's out of there. Here we go. Cinnamon Kiss and 49er Media. Who will be the last one standing? So, Media is the winner.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Get this out of here. Congrats, Media. Add these to your bag. Dang, so Media cleaned up today. You got the juice card. You got the 49ers drip sticker from my guy, Inspector Dabbit, on Twitter. Make sure you check him out for all your 49ers gear. And you got the John Taylor and Fred Warner. Congrats. Congrats, everybody. Before we get out of here, what are you looking for in tonight's game? What do you want to see? From starters, from position battles, from whatever.
Position battles. I want to see who wins that third linebacker spot. Curious to see what goes on with nickel. Isaiah Oliver, to me, has been a bit disappointing. So Ambry Thomas, can he make this squad? Which I think he might have a good chance, especially with the injuries to like Luter and all the other guys. So yeah, I want to see that, and I want to see good offensive line play. I don't care who's quarterbacking out there today. Keep these men upright. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like after our starters is a huge question mark about this offensive line. It's scary, honestly. Like, if somebody goes down, I'm worried. I'm gonna keep it a stack here. Yeah, so offensive line play, I want to see improvement. I feel like the last game, they stepped up a little bit better. The quarterbacks had a cleaner pocket, so I want to continue that success. And then, yeah, like I said, the third linebacker spot and nickel, and then I want to see, and I think the last thing I want to see is what's going on at the wide receiver position. I feel like, obviously, like the top three are set with, Juwan Jennings, Ayuk, and Debo. I want to see who takes that fourth spot. Is it going to be Chris Conley? Is it going to be Ronnie Bell? Yeah, I think it's between one of those two. And I think Danny Gray, probably like the fifth or sixth receiver out there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, to me, though, the main thing is Nick on that third linebacker spot. I want to see what goes on there.
Yeah, I'm interested in those, and then the tight end spot as well.
That's another good one.
Is Latu gonna show up and do something? Is he gonna be dropping the ball? Is he gonna be making this roster or not? Does Dwelly continue to be just a preseason hype guy to make the team, and then we don't see nothing from him for the rest of the year? I'm really hoping these younger guys can beat them out. So I'm hoping to see Latu get in the game and do something decent. And yeah, obviously interested to see what goes on with these quarterbacks. I want to see, are we going to see Brock Purdy take any shots down the field, or it's all going to be behind the freaking line of scrimmage shit? I'd like to actually see him air the hell out once in a while to see that, the arm's working, the arm's okay, it's not going to fall off, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it.
That'll do it.
Hey, y'all. Yep. As always, you guys are the best. Eddie had said, love y'all. Wish you guys would do a call-in show. I've thought about doing a call-in show, but I didn't want to just get here and, expect to do a call-in show and then nobody calls in, so I'm just talking to myself. So if people would actually call in, like, I'm hella down to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's up to you guys. You guys let me know if you guys would be here and calling in. I will definitely do it. I don't want to be like a loser, showing up to the only person to my own party.
Nah, we get somebody to call.
I've been waiting, Sim, but who knows what you're doing over there? I've been asking you for freaking years already. Now he wants to say you need theme music. This guy, I swear.
Somebody says
you live
Oliver
all the way in Canada.
He lives in Canada. Somebody says Oliver getting a spot. I think he will. But I just think everybody kind of penciled him in as a starting nickel because he worked with Steve Wilkes already. I don't think that's necessarily the case right now. I think he still can make it. He might be like a special teamer now, depending on how he plays. But obviously, he's a great tackler from all accounts and stuff like that. When he gets his hands on the ball carrier. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get that starting spot or not. I mean, obviously, we think we think the outside is locked in. With Delmer Lenore and Charvarius Ward. But other than that, I feel like every other spot's up for grabs.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where's Ambry played. Do they have Lenore playing inside again, or is he back on the outside? It's definitely some things to tune into. But yeah, fam, we appreciate you all. Much love. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Friday. Have a great game tonight. Have a wonderful weekend. Everybody stay safe out there. Yep. And I'll be back sometime next week.
Yep, and let's stay healthy.
TL's busy, right? This next week. So
yeah, I got a commercial to film on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I don't know.
He's a movie star, so he doesn't have that much time for us ordinary folks anymore.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'll give you guys a time of when I can show up for sure.
But yeah, I'll be back Tuesday with Ryan and Bashar. I'll be back Thursday with Steph, and probably someday I'll be back. I'll be back some other day, I'm sure. So yeah, just make sure you're subbed, got those notifications on for when we go live, and I'll see y'all here. Much love, fam. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy.
Good. Everybody have a good weekend, fam.
We're out of here.